Fantastic. All right. Everybody seems to be going perfectly. Well, guys, this will be on literally every single step. Hi there, my name's Pink Josh. Nice to see you again. We're going to be doing an acrylic gesso-y type of a thing today. So I'm going to show you exactly every single step from start to finish. Going to need a good handful of paper towels, right? That we're going to squash up into this crazy little ball, just like that. Literally, that's all we're going to need. All these little spots. Different parts of our paper towel are going to make the coolest little thing. Now I've squeezed out a little of my Liquitex gesso. Right, looks like this guy, the white gesso, and then we have the black gesso. It's the same, but we have very, very, very much less black gesso than we do the white. So I've squeezed it out on a little paper plate right here. You can see it's almost starting to run. That's how watery that gesso-y stuff is. We're going to take our paper towel, we're going to go right into the white bits, just blasting it up here, right? And then literally wherever you want it to be, mush on and pull away. Mush and pull, mush and pull, and turn it. Don't have it just be the same thing in the same shape. We're turning it, we're crisscrossing it, getting it all over the place. And don't worry, it's gonna get very, very, very bright, right where we start in the middle. All right, we'll come back over here, we'll get it a little bit more bright. We'll put on a little bit more paint, we'll put it out there, just blast it. Right? Every spot does not have to be the same exact thing. Right? We're just kind of plopping it on there, here and there, just about halfway down the canvas. Doesn't even need to go all the way to the edges, okay? All we need is to have a nice little bright spot right up there in the top, so even a little bit more. Yeah, it's just very bright right there in the top part of our canvas, right? Almost covering the entire black canvas, leaving some of the edges out here on the side. Now, there's all sorts of different things you can do. You can literally take your paper towel, go over to the edge, launch out your little waterfall just like that. Nothing needs to be perfect out here because we're going to go over it a million times anyway. Literally, put it on there, drop it off. Come back in a little bit more. Let's say we're going to have a little drop down section, so let's try to leave a little separation, maybe make them a little bit brighter here, have that little dark separator back in there, maybe they just flow off down the side of our waterfall, just quite literally tapping them into place. Same thing up here, a little bit less pressure, so we're not pushing them so hard, they stay a little bit brighter, and now you've got this waterfall dripping out and dripping down. Same thing for our little bushy bits. Come down here, maybe this whole side, add a brighter bit of bush or something happening down here into our foreground, maybe our little waterfall area, coming over there like that. Or you can take on and tap in a couple little bits down there, and if you just over tap them a little bit, they'll look like reflections in our water by the time we get down there, right? Little bits, little bobs, little here, little there, and we're literally all done. Now, let's come back in, let's take just a little fan brush, we're gonna go into the black gesso, and get that onto our brush. Let's just say, even though it's a little bit wet up here, let's come up here and just drop on just a couple little things, wherever. Literally doesn't matter what we do out here, how many there are, just all the black ones stay in the back there, right? And then we're gonna come in with a little bit darker, a little bit more paint on the brush. Let's push a little harder. Let's extend it, grow that paint, right? The more we push on it, the more it's gonna grow. We can make a little tree shape out here, and it's just with the black acrylic gesso over the white acrylic gesso that was already there. Doesn't matter what it looks like, we can come back in and do whatever we want. You don't even need a whole lot of detail on this tree back here because it's not going to stand out by the time that we get up into our foreground. We're not even going to notice this big old thing anymore. I swear. You're like, yeah, right, Josh, but I'm telling you, you won't even notice this thing, so let's not pay too much attention to it. Launch it out that way, a couple little things here, there, wherever. Maybe that whole branch went up into the night. And if it's going to be that big, let's make these guys a little bit bigger then. There, wherever. Seriously, does not matter what you do on your tree, here, there, or anywhere. Just pop in a couple little branches, launch them down. You can throw liner brush on there if you want to and get all sorts of little things happening, but you don't need it. It doesn't need to be too detailed. I'm telling you, leave it very much like that. Very cool. Now, let's wipe our brush off, or at least dip it into some paper towel or some water, and try to get some of that dark paint off of the canvas. Off of our brush. Right, now we got the majority of that dark paint off our brush. We'll come back in here into the white and then see if we can just get a little bit of gray color by mixing the white and the black together. There we go. A little bit of gray. Let's pop down, bang, right in there. All right, as big as you want it to be. If it's a little bit lighter in color, it's going to stand out away from that dark color. So grab a little bit more white, get it into here, keeping that nice gray bit. Maybe we got another one, bang, right there. Just come down and cut in front of it, honestly. Whatever you want to do, just keep adding white to the pile. And then let's get a little bit bigger. Pop another one in over here. Literally, where do you want it to be, guys? It's up to you guys where it's going to be, how far they come down. Let's just get some pure white on our brush for this guy over here. Right in there. Yeah. See, stands out as being a little bit closer. And we can have them look however we want every single time that we go to do it. You want to have a little bit darker on the back side, throw a little bit of darkness in there. Throw it off to the back. Change the color. It's up to you. Literally. What do you feel like when you're seeing yours? That's literally it. How many times, how many little bits, how many little trees can you do? Now, off of these little guys in the front, all right, we'll take a bit more of our white gesso. Let's just come in here and tap on just a few little areas. I told you the majority of that thing is going to be covered back there. You're not even going to see it. You weren't listening to me, and so you put on too much, and that's okay. That's okay. All we need, a little bit of stuff out there. You can even come back in and clean up around the edge. Have some more little stuff climbing up, just like that, guys. Literally. You could leave that whole painting looking just so if you wanted to, or we can go back and we can cover over it, right? Let's say you wanted to pop in just a little spooky face in there. Take your white gesso, pop in just a crazy little eye or two into our tree, and open. It's like, oh, it's whatever we want, right? You don't like that? Come back over it with our black gesso, cover it up, however you want it to be. Now you have to let this dry, okay? You can't just start with your wet oils over it. We're going to toss away all this stuff right here. I don't need any of that stuff left. Right, but you have to let it dry. It only takes about 10 minutes for it to fully dry. So while we're doing the rest of this scene, you're going to be able to catch up. And what I'm going to do is swap to one that we already have prepped from earlier. We did the same thing earlier. And that way I could show you how to do it, and then we wouldn't have to wait in between. So this guy, like I said, it's going to be very simple. Let's put our other guy out of the way. So all you guys have to do is just check in. Tell me where you're watching from. Just where are you from across the world. That's it. The more times you guys hit the like button over there on the tube, the more people are going to come watch us. So let's now switch to our Bob Ross Liquid Clear because our canvas is dried all the way. There's no more wetness on the canvas. You've got no fear of the oil paint mixing with the wet acrylic paint because you don't want that. Okay, let me tell you. Now we're going to take our clear paint and we're going to massage it all across our canvas in every single place we can possibly put it. And you'll notice in the dark areas it will change the color to even darker than the original canvas. Look at this tree. And by the time you go over it, it's a little darker. It's a little bit more wet, more crazy, right? You never want to put on too much of your liquid clear. Like that was way too much. There we go. And I can really feel the difference. If it's sticky, if it feels like syrup when you're putting it on, you've got way too much on the brush, right? You want it to be very slick. So if you have this area that's very sticky or it grips your brush and slows it down like that, you've got too much in that spot. You need to push it out. Push it, push it, push it, spread it, lots of force, lots of pressure, right? At home, your easel should be shaken side to side. Mine only stays relatively sturdy because it's screwed into the ceiling. Legitimately screwed into the ceiling, so it cannot move, right? Otherwise, that's the only way to really express to you how much pressure we're pushing on this poor little guy back here. Now, here's going to be a very cool little trick for your eyes. And the first thing I need is some of my ultramarine blue or your phthalo blue paint. You don't want to go Prussian blue, not in this instance. It's a little bit too dark, that Prussian blue. So we're going to go with our phthalo blue or our ultramarine blue. I'm going to get a little bit of it onto the brush. And this is the definition of a transparent color. When you put it up here into the sky, the areas of white, right? The white colored areas will go blue. And the black area will stay black. That's the definition of a transparent color. So we're taking this guy up here, we're pushing on that blue paint, and we're letting it spread out, covering over our white acrylic area that we've now covered in a clear oil medium, right? That's what the Bob Ross Liquid Clear is. It's an oil blending medium that allows our paints to blend and get all types of crazy, right? Without having the white portion like our liquid white. And it makes our canvas wet. It allows everything to mix together, right? It's all about the mixing. And we're putting on very little amounts of blue at a time, and then spreading them out. You can see how you get that real dark patch, and you can spread it out here. You can push it over there. You can mush it up this way. And then remember, we're going to go back and put, this is just our undercolors, guys, just the undercolor bit. Now, what we're going to want to do, have a little bit of blue down in here, just a touch. You don't need to have too much. I can pop some down in there too, right? The more we have in different places, now it's very dark initially. I put some over here, some up in there, pushed it around, and you can spread it out. It's all up to us. Let's say we want a little blue waterfall running back here. We need to have that blue paint in that area back there in order for it to drip down and fall, and then a bit of it down here. Not too much, not too crazy, okay? Now, you're looking at it like the whole thing is almost covered in blue. That's just exactly what we want. Let's go wash our brush out, and I'm going to show you a really cool trick. Do you guys know what happens when you mix blue and yellow? I'm just asking you a question. Just do you know what happens when you mix blue and yellow? What comes out of that? You guys remember? Okay, cool. You guys remember in elementary school? What happens when we mix blue and yellow? What are we going to get? What are we going to get? Why do we get a... Dude, it's ridiculous. Got another violation thing on TikTok. We haven't had one in a minute, and now all of a sudden, there, right? We're gonna get green, exactly. So watch this cool trick, okay? We're gonna take our Indian yellow, because the Indian yellow is a transparent yellow color, meaning what? What does that mean? Does anybody remember? It means when we put it over the white area, it's going to stay bright colored, like this. When we put it over the dark area, it's going to stay darker, right? So watch what happens. We get a little bit of yellow in here, and we start mixing it up. And we pop some in over here as well. And the more we mix it up into that blue, the cooler little tones and different little colors of green and things that we're going to have mixing down and changing all over the place. Isn't it just the cutest? Yeah. Hope we put some back here. Put some back in there. Pushed on it a little bit. You can always go back in and add more blue over the top as well. Right? Come in here, pop our blue in, and rock it down over the yellow. And we're going to have a really cool looking little scene. Now remember, these are all just undercolors, you guys. Everything out here is an undercolor, meaning that when we go over it with our bright white paint, it's going to brighten up and be different. You can have that green and yellow, or blue and yellow mixed down here. Man, that's looking so cool so far. Okay, let's take our brush and we'll wash it off one more time. Wash the brush off one more time. Over here. You guys, it's Friday night freestyle. We're having a good time tonight. We're gonna have a good time tonight, my friends. Okay, now what I want to do is grab a little touch of my titanium white, right onto my big old brush. Because we need to brighten up the sky, brighten up an area. Now you see that the white is a transparent color as well. It's a semi-transparent color, meaning the more that we put on to the canvas, the harder and harder and harder it's going to be able to see the rest of our details, right? So you get this soft little faded out look. The more you mix it with those colors, as we put that blue and that green everywhere, right? The more we mix it, the more it's going to brighten up. Haze everything out. That looks really neat, you guys. Let's take a little bit of this. Watch what happens if we pop a little bit of like a bright spot in the center, and then drag it out. Dragging it through, mixing it, pushing it as much as you want it to be, blending it out. You get this cool little light coming through the forest. Always put a little bit more, just brightening it up. Here we go. the more that you put out there, the harder it's going to be to see the rest of those details, right? So you get to choose how yours looks every time that you do it. Now let's come in here and let's lay down what we want our water to look like, and then we'll go back and put our land in. So we'll take our titanium white, we're going to mix it down over our brush. We know our water's coming out from back here, so we got to roll over and fall, right? Roll over and fall down. The more that you have on your brush, the more paint, right? Drag this guy back so we can cover over these areas too. It doesn't really matter. But the more paint that you have on your brush, the more of a white and a, there, just like that. The more of a drip and little things that are going to fall off of that brush as they're rocking down the waterfall. So it's all about the right amount of paint, you guys. You got to have the right amount of paint on the brush or on the canvas in order to get it to work. Look at that. It's going to be cool already. Already. Take that same brush, come up, mix down here just a little bit. We don't need to have too much. And we'll mix this guy up into a little touch of a little bit of misty falls down here. The more you mix it up, the more it's all going to be the same. So let's try not to make it too similar. And let's try not to put too much down here. If we put too much color on the canvas, it's going to erase everything. So if we can just put a little bit of our paint out there and kind of spread it out. And remember, we can go back in and cover over whatever we don't want to be water with land or details or whatever. Very cool. Now, let's take our plaque mix. We'll take our black, our crimson, and our Prussian blue, or your ultramarine blue, or your phthalo blue. It doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter. We're just trying to make a dark mix of color. And then we're going to need to get out some of our sap green because I don't have any on my palette. Where is my sap green? Dang it. There we go. Sap green. Sap green. I'm pretty sure Julie got me this sap green, and I'm so sorry if it's a different person. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. So thank you, Julie, for the sap green. Now, what we're gonna do is in a scene like this where we're using a lot of yellow and greens, we need to have some dark green in our base, right? So we're gonna take about half of whatever our pile is, maybe 1/3, and we'll mix that guy up. So we're taking a whole bunch of green and mixing it with our blue and crimson and black. And that way we'll have like a very deep, dark, army green kind of a color for our shadows of our bushes and trees and different such. Now we don't want it to be too bright. Right? That's our whole goal. Let's not make it be too bright out there. And then what we're going to do is come back in with our Paint with Josh fan brush. So I was looking for this thing. I was looking for this little guy out there. Man, this one's cool. This one's available. It's over there on the site. You just got to get it. You guys are looking great. Remember, if you're watching over on the tube, just give me a little thumbs up. That's all we need over there. Right now, we've got these cool little hidden, these far away, further away trees in the background, which we can then take, now that our water is coming out here, this becomes our foreground, or midground, this becomes our midground back here, and then we have our foreground down in the bottom. We're obviously going to launch a massive tree here and place him right down here in the bottom. So let's try to crisscross that, right? We've got a focal point in the background, then we're going to have a focal point over here, and then our big focal point is going to be over here, so we can have this little thing that's going to bring them a little closer. We can do bushes in here, we could do all sorts of stuff. But let's focus on this guy. We're going to drag down through our plaque mix, which is that, well, grack mix, because it's that green, blackish, purplish nastiness. It's just a very dark color. We try to get a lot of it onto the brush, and then we're going to decide out here, wherever we decide to put it in. Should we do two? Should we do one? Let's do two. Let's pop one in right here. Right there. Right? Because of its dark color and everything else behind it being so bright, this will stand out away from all of our background trees, right? This guy automatically is like, hey, I'm right here in the front. What you gonna do about it, right? Doesn't all have to be the same amount of fill. Doesn't all have to do the same of anything. Right? It's totally up to us what we want them to look like. If you want it to have a big old trunk coming down from the bottom, have a big old trunk coming down. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care what yours looks like, right? I'm just out here showing you some cool stuff. I'm gonna fill in just little places and leave some stuff. It's all up to you. You can do it, right? What if we took a different brush and we grab, let's just say, a little bit of that guy onto our Paint with Josh bush brush. We're trying to hit it at the bottom of the brush and then turn the brush over. So now it's all the way up here at the top. And say we came down, just a couple little things, right? Trying to overhang back here, saving some of that green color, but having some of the dark color in the front is also going to help us by the time that we come down with our perspective. Pull this guy out here, pull it over here. We can decide what's in front of where every time that we go to do it. Take a little of our liquid white. Let's go into our yellow ochre color. There, little yellow ochre, little of our madder carmine color. That's gonna make a fiery little bush out there. Little things. Couple little bits, not trying to touch everywhere. Right? We don't need every place to all be exactly the same as it always is. And underneath that guy, just to have something stand out. Let's take a little bit of our red, little crimson, little yellow ochre, excuse me, our brown crimson and yellow ochre. And a little touch of our Van Dyke brown, which is the darker one. There. Don't want it to be too crazy. Maybe mix a little plaque into it as well. There. That's a brown color right there. Come out from underneath this guy. We can drag it down right on top of our little waterfall area. And remember, the whole front of this thing is going to be missing, so don't worry about it too much. We're just trying to take a little bit of that brown, drag it down. Maybe it kind of fell over the edge or whatever. There's a whole little land thing happening back here, which is going to be covered anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then if you want to have a little highlight on that, a little touch of our yellow ochre, just a little bit. Here we go. There. Touch of some brightness, some sort of something, and leave the differences in there. That's the best part about it, right? Now, let's come in and cover a little bit of that guy with a whole other big old tree. We wiggle down onto our brush, wiggle it down, then we'll go highlight our little friend back here. Doesn't need to be as big. We want him to come down right there. It's living right on the edge. We'll put some bushes around these guys and let them fall over as well. But let's just say little taps on the top, and then all of a sudden, bang, there's like a bigger space than you would imagine, right? And maybe we drop down, tapping out a couple little weird bits. Maybe we come back in, we extend those guys with a few little weird oddities. A little bit bigger as we go upwards, right? Each time, you can always go back and extend the top of your tree as well. Right? How do you want it to look? Each time you do it, we're proving you can literally do it however you want. We drop down over here, get a little bit bigger. We fill in, we just fill in the center bit. Not every piece is going to be exactly the same as the whole rest. Right? We gotta fill in some stuff, we gotta cover over some stuff, and like I said, not every bit of your trunk has to show either, right? It's all up to us, guys, what it's gonna be, how big, how much they're going to extend outwards, how much is gonna be hidden, how fat the branches are, how textured they are. It's all up to us. We get to decide every time that we go to do another one is another chance to do it a little bit differently, try something new, whatever, right? Very cool. Now, as you can see, we're starting to build our way. We got our land, our water, it's all flowing this way. So let's take a little bit more of that dark color right in here, since we got it on the brush. And let's launch over, saving a little bit. A little bit of that land, where the land meets the water. Could be rocks, could be whatever. Right? We get to decide. Drop that guy down. Save a couple little pieces of that light color, either in between or around him. It's all up to us. Again, literally every time you go to do it, you can do it a little bit different. Now take that green with our liquid white and enough of it to make the liquid white so, or our oil paint anyway, so wet and light that it will come off of the brush even on top of nothing. Look at that. We didn't even put anything over there, and yet because it's such a wet paint, it's already come off the brush and started to fall over the edge. Okay. Now let's change the color a little bit, because we never like to all just be exactly the same. That's really cool though. Never like to all just be exactly the same. So let's try to get into the skin, there we go, of that cad yellow paint. And because it has a little touch of our green in it as well, you get these cool little things, as long as you don't overdo it. Don't overdo everything, guys. If you're mushing on too many things, or smashing on too many bits, or trying to get too many things to be bright or whatever, right, then it's just not gonna work. I'm telling you from experience. I'm gonna try to scoop up all this dark paint. Now we're gonna come project, right? Bang, pushing back the waterfall, even out into it, because you gotta have some form of texturous bush or something that's covering over. We can't see the back. It just kind of all of a sudden falls out, right? Very neat. Now don't put too much right here either, because we're going to come in with this massive tree. So it's really not going to make too big of a difference. If anything, let's let these guys dangle down, dangle down, dangle down. Remember, this whole area is going to be taken out by a whole big trunk of something. Come back with our liquid white. Right? Haven't washed the brush yet. It's got all those colors in it still. Back to the green. All right, tapping it in, making sure it's nice and goopy. You can almost hear it. It's foul. It will come off this way. And tap in, just trying not to make every piece of everything look like everything else, right? Please don't do that. Don't make them all exactly the same. Now, the only thing we do need to do is mix up a whole big bunch of our plaque mix onto our brush, and then we'll go back and highlight some stuff. And you guys are looking fantastic. Look at this thing, dude. That is cool. I'm already digging it. Already digging it. Man, that's a neat looking little painting back there, dudes. Dudes and dudettes. We're gonna come back here. We're gonna mix up all this stuff. And throw it down, a little black, well, all of it, all the crimson, all the blue, all of it. Just need it all, give me everything, everything. Right? Now, I'm only gonna use this plaque mix to make my trunk of my tree up here in the front, so it's very dark, and then we're gonna mix whatever's left of this in with our green, like we did before, to make these guys a little bit less dark than our actual trunk of our tree. Now, this tree in the front has to be enormous, right? So we're gonna come in here, we're gonna mix down on the paint, we're gonna put it full, just full brush, not turn sideways like this, full brush on. And we're probably gonna miss out on that. Actually, if we get it right here, let's get rid of this little guy there, to see if we can save that one back in here, right? We're gonna make it just about 2 brush lengths wide. You can even use your big 2-inch brush, honestly, if you wanted to during this part right here. Seriously, it's gotta be big, it's gotta be dark enough to take out everything that's in the background, and then it's gonna come down here and live in this little bush, right? So it being from top to bottom, just the tallest, biggest, darkest thing you can see, that's going to make it stand out away from all these little other guys, right? And the only reason I'm doing this is so you can actually see it, right? Some of the times my lighting makes it to where it looks very bright because of all the light and the streaks and all that, but it should be just about that big, and it should be that dark. Just crazy dark, you guys. Thanks, Alchemist, appreciate you. Man, this one's looking cool, dudes. Look at this, come down here, just make it as big as you want. We're gonna put a whole big thing in here anyway. Now, in order to push all the rest of this back, we're gonna mix in, like I said, our sap green. So whatever size of the pile that we have over here, we're gonna take about half sap green, put that in over there, and just mix it up into that real dark darkness. The grack, the Paint with Josh grack, we call it. Now, the more green that you have in this mix, right, the easier it's going to be to keep your highlights greenish, yellowish, if that's the color that you're choosing to go with on that, right? It's all up to you guys. But let's take our liner brush first. Grab our liner brush and a little bit of our odorless mineral spirits, right? The odorless mineral spirits looks like water, but it is not. It is a clear chemical that cleans all of our brushes off. Now, let's drop up here, really launch out just this crazy long branch, my man, coming out of our tree right here, right? Whatever you want it to look like, seriously. Most of it is gonna be all covered up. So if you pop out a few little random bits, they might survive the coverage. And then we're gonna have our whole top be covered. So these things are gonna be very close, right? It's gonna overtake the whole tree right here. And then in which case, let's pop in one more little guy out there, wherever. And that's gonna be our next little, ooh, that looks cool, just like that. Guys, if you didn't even wanna have any branch or any bushes or whatever, just throw out some branch, but just make them big enough and, you know, enough, just literally like that if you wanted to. If you wanted to, we're gonna come in here with that greenish, blackish color, and we're gonna pop out here. Remember, the whole guy needs to get big, it needs to cut across him right here, right? Not everywhere is going to be the same thing. It's basically an up-close version of one of these little guys right here, right? Really up close in our face, a lot more paint, Come out on the top a little bit further, overhang it down a little bit so we can see some of the under canopy of our thing. Not trying to cover all of our bushes in there, or our branches in there, but you gotta get down close enough, right? Look at those little sticks that came out. Didn't I tell you? You got these cool little bits out there. Oh, that's neat. I like it. We could do one more down here too. We got the paint. You got the paint and the time right there. Big old thing, just popping out wherever we want it to be. Then we're gonna fill in all of our trunk. And do we have enough to come down here and just launch out? Are you hearing the amount of force that we're smacking at this canvas with? Right? Just the force that it takes to get that paint to stick on there. Then we're gonna go wash out this big old brush. So while I'm washing it, you guys gotta check in and tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And remember, if you like this one, it's available over on paintwithjosh.com. Very first thing you'll see. Just the very first thing when you get there. There's no photo of it, obviously, because we are painting it live in front of your very eyes, but this is going to be the very first thing you'll see on the page. There we go. Okay. Now, we're going to come back in. Let's wash out our highlight brush, so that oval brush. We're going to wash that guy out. Get rid of all the color from this oval brush, and that way we can get some new stuff on there. And have it look fantastic, my friends. Okay, now we're going to go in again to our liquid white, and I'm telling you, you probably don't have enough liquid white when you're going to do this part, right? You need a good amount, and then you want to squish it up into that paint. See how it's starting to just grow these long little fingery little bits? That's what you want to have, right? Some of our yellow too. Let's mix them up together. There, a little bit more vibrant in its greenness. Let's say a couple little bits might get caught up there. Little things, right? Not everywhere's got to be so bright. Not everywhere's going to have so much of a bit of color. Right? Everything doesn't all have to be the same amount of bright. That's the whole best part about it. Little bits that we can tap on and drag across our tree, not having to do literally anything except for that. That's quite honestly fantastic. Okay, now in order to do our tree trunk, we're going to need a whole lot of our brown colors. So, we get those guys out. We're going with our Winsor & Newton Burnt Sienna color, which is our dark sienna, same thing on the Bob Ross set. All right, and then we're going to go with our Van Dyke Brown. And you need a lot of paint when you come down here onto this guy. That already looks like it belongs without even having to do anything. Look at that. That's cool. That's cool, guys. That is cool. Okay. Man, you guys are looking great over there. Watching from Texas, from Florida. Man. All right. So, what are we going to do? Let's have some of this. Little touch down there. A little bit. There. I like that better. Now, we're going to take our two brown colors. So I'm going to get my Van Dyke Brown out of the old bin. And we need a lot of it because we're going to mix it together. We also need our yellow ochre, you guys. Gotta have yellow ochre if you're going to do Paint with Josh bark, because I use lots of yellow ochre in my bark. Lots of it. So, I'm going to ask you one more time, and this time I'm actually going to come and actually read the comments. Tell me where you're watching from, and I'll see if I can't give your city or your state a little shout out from Paint with Josh to you. But tell me where you're from, and let's see. Arkansas. We got Florida, Atlanta, I like it, Tennessee, Arizona, Honduras, Puerto Rico, New Hampshire, Houston, Pendleton, Chipley, Tennessee, Miami, Ontario, Ohio, Lincoln City, Oregon. I'm in Eugene, Oregon over here. Let's see, Kent, New York, Colorado, Scotland, Arizona, Oklahoma. Man, they're coming in fast. Oklahoma, New Brunswick, California, London, UK. Man, you guys are everywhere. You're quite honestly everywhere, right? Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our two brown colors. We're going to scrape them up, just like this. Fold them over. So we got our light brown, our dark brown. We're going to mix those two guys together. All right, we're probably going to need more than just that because you want to have a large amount. You want to have it feel like tree bark, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scoop up this enormous chunk. You can see it gleaming in the light. And we're going to touch it very lightly and start attaching it as we go down. Right? So we're just tapping, 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 tapping. And you can all of a sudden see all that texture. It's literally, it gets stuck to the canvas and it wants to make a little ridge, right? I can literally do it right here. You guys know how this stuff works, right? It's very sticky to its own self. So we can come down here, we'll tap on a little bit more. Tap, 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 tap. Now the more I flatten it, by going over it and going over it and going over it, the more, or the less it's going to feel like bark, right? We don't want to cover every space or every spot. We want to go about 60% of the way over with our shadows. Stop, right? So it's about 3 lines with some dark spaces in between that look already like bark, right? Come up in here, same thing, just kind of tapping it. You can even pick it up and use it in other places on the painting. Come back, I put on too much right there. That's enough. We'll use the rest of it up here. Now we're gonna mix in to this brown on brown paint a little bit of our yellow ochre. It's probably about half and half. Just enough to make it bright enough to tell a difference. I don't want it to be too bright because then I need to have my highlight on the top of this as well. Right? So we've got our shadow base. Next base layer right here should be, here we go, lightly browner, right? Slightly brighter than the rest. We're going to start out on the edge, maybe leaving a little space. Don't need to be too big. Scoop some of that paint up, drop it down here, scoop it up again. There we go. Sometimes, especially with your very first tap, you could leave way too much. It happens a lot, right? What we do is we start our lighter brown on this one side, and we work it about 60% across the other side without touching every space. Right? And that way you've got a little bit of brown, a little bit of deeper colors on both sides, and then we come back with our highlight for the very last touch. And the last touchery is the fun part. And then it's pretty much all just yellow ochre paint. That's the cool part about it. There, a couple little taps. You can already see how thick and chunky that tree bark is. Right? It's already looking like a real tree, just based off of the chunk. Man, that painting's gonna take a while to dry, they say. Don't have to get it all the way to the edge, but you gotta have a little bit of space back there. Now, here comes the fun part, where our light is coming in and hitting onto our tree. I would imagine we would just have some very bright bark. So we're gonna take some of our pure yellow ochre, nothing else, no liquid white, no anything like that. If you need liquid white, you can put a little bit on there, but it's gonna get very messy very quick. Now we can tap on that yellow ochre onto the side of our tree and start catching some of these light rays that are shining through. And the more that we tap in, the more it's going to intermix with our lighter brown and our darker brown colors, right? So it's all about having the right amount of paint on the blade, the right amount of pressure, the right amount of taps as we're going down. And then you can start to feed it back into its own self without covering everything, you guys, right? We can't cover every piece of every part of all this trunk and all this junk. We gotta show some of it. So leaving some of the dark spaces, having some of the light spaces, and instantly you get this really cool little piece of tree bark out here, guys. Not the neatest. Honestly, how cool is that? Oh, quite honestly, and feels just like a bit of tree bark. You're gonna feel it by the time you get done. This thing's gonna weigh a whole nother extra set of poundage on me. We're gonna take a little bit more of our odorless mineral spirits into our plaque mix, and just in 40 minutes we did this painting. Seriously. Let's take one little thing, see if we can't launch out like a bit of brown right from the center of the tree though. There we go. Kind of cutting through, right? And then we'll come on top of that guy. Just a little touch of brown color and a little touch of our yellow ochre, and it doesn't all have to be the same. There. One little thing coming out from the tree, headed towards you guys. That's cool. I like it. Okay, now let's do. We could put one more. We could put some highlights on this guy in here though too. A little bit more of our liquid white. Right? We'll go into our sap green color. Now that we got some yellow ochre, let's get into that yellow ochre color too. Yes. Ooh, it's nasty. Right. We'll come out here and start tapping on little places. Not everywhere is going to all be exactly the same, so leave some spots that aren't as bright, leave some spots that don't get as lit as all the rest of the places, right? Isn't that the coolest? Dudes. Dudes, that's cool. Okay, now let's come in here, a little bit of our liquid white. Because the liquid white, a little touch of our titanium white, if we can have just a little. There we go. There, I just want a couple little bits of leaves or sticks or whatever, just kind of growing out in towards our water over there. And boy, oh boy, you guys, let's go highlight these dudes too. Before we forget about our old little trees over there, before we run out of our green, let's go get some more green. A little bit of our sap green, a little bit of our cat yellow, our liquid white and our sap green. We're going to come off of this guy. We're just going to start tapping on little spots, right? These little spaces, the more that you tap onto them, the more they will make themselves go away, right? They'll kind of blend in, they'll get to this darker color, this darker tone that we're then kind of dropping onto the shadowy part of our tree. And just like show you guys, we can have these little bits. These guys are catching some light out there, wherever we want. Just make it so it's not all the same. If it's all the same color, right, then it's never gonna all work. So don't have everything be the same. Don't touch it all the same amount of times. Don't do it. Don't do anything. Right? No, I'm just kidding. But if you overdo it and you overtouch and you have too many little bright splotches of color and not enough shadowy area, then it's just not going to make any sense to our brain, right? So by the time you get out here, you're just kind of tapping in these little bits, feeding them back. Not everywhere needs to be the same amount, and if you get one that's a bit too bright, you can always go over it, right? You can go back and add more dark paint to it, cover up that little area, make it a little shadowy spot again, right? Whatever we want to do, you don't have to stress about it. That's the whole goal, right? We're not out here stressing. We don't really care what it looks like. We just want to have a couple little bits of stuff in there. And if you can have the right amount of stuff in there, then we'll have a really cool little tree. Now we'll also take just a small amount of that lighter brown color and throw it on to our tree trunk down in here. A little bit, wherever we can see a little touch of trunk sometimes, even when you can't see a little touch of trunk. Throw a little trunk in there. Man, that looks cool. Guys, okay, what do you guys think? Dudes. It's quite literally perfect, isn't it? I agree. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Remember, this one is available. Someone else is going to grab it before you. I can't help you if someone comes in and gets it before you because you were just messing about watching the show. Right? So get over there. A couple little bits, detail, just a couple little bubbles, literally. Scraping them across the top. That is a cool painting. But let me ask you something. Should we cover this part that's just all acrylic, right? Like we've got our oils coming over and they look very similar, like it might actually was supposed to be that way. But should we cover that guy in oils or should we leave him like that? What do you think? I have an idea. Guys. I got an idea. Instead of covering it, okay, that's what we're gonna do. Let's get out here. Let's mix up. Do we have any more? I've got maybe I've got just enough. Just enough of my black mix left, okay? So I'm gonna mix up my blue, black, and crimson paint. Let's throw a fallen tree in here, like a log across the bridge, all right? Across the bridge of Khazad-dûm. So we're gonna toss in a fallen tree. I would come out here like this. Grab this guy and start way over here. Maybe it's off the map, right? And then all the way down, cutting through, darkening out the paint. Right? It has to be dark. It's got to get wide down here too. Right? Got to be wider down here than it is across there, and you get this fallen little log right over there. Hey, big as we want it to be. Literally have it be humongous if we wanted to. There. And it came down, it fell into the painting, And then we can go back in and launch off just a whole 10 ton of branches off of that guy. Just a 10 ton of branches. There we go. Odorless mineral spirits into our plaque mix. Let's come off of this guy like this. Right there. Bang. Where does it want to be? How many little branches are you going to have? How many little things are going to grow off of your little friend? And this is why I didn't want to put too many details into back here or too much texture, because if we were going to throw this guy, it's going to get lost in all that texture. Right? So if you leave it uncovered, let's pop down here too. Bang, zip. It's just trying to dip down into the water. Hopping over the edge, wherever. Honestly, where do you want it to be? One to launch down that way, you can have one launch down that way. It's totally up to you every time that you go to do it. Right? This will be a fun little one. There. Whoop. It's a big chunk of skin in there. Get that guy out. He doesn't want to come out right now. There. Little bits, little pops, little here, little there. Where sometimes you have to have just a broken bit of a branch that just didn't grow anywhere. You know what I mean? It's just hanging off. This whole big guy is not having the best day, right? So you can have as many little twisted up, broken little branches as he wants to. And if you throw them out into your light color, right, into the lighter spot of your painting, you're really going to notice it a lot more than if you were to try to put it into the darkness. Right? So again, a little bit of our brown, a little bit more of our dark brown. So we got a little light brown, a little bit more of the dark sienna. Just so it stays dark. You need a dark side, right? You can't have the Jedis without having the dark side. Take that dark side. Remember, the dark side is going to be on the bottom now, so we can tap in all this thick, crazy, really heavy paint right on top of our little tree trunk. Just kind of mush it out. Remember, go about 60% over to the light side, and then we can take it back away if we need to. Turn it this way and do it. Down here, we get a lot more of that brown color headed towards the back, up into there, just literally tapping at it and removing the blade so it leaves a good amount of chunkiness on the canvas. It's literally it. Okay? Now we'll come back and we'll take our yellow ochre. Let's see what we can do. We just kind of tap in this little guy. The more we mix it with that brown, the more it's going to start to change. Right? So if you tap it in too much, it's going to mix in too much, and it will all get lost. And always you have to go over your shadows just a little. You can't have it just be this perfect line right down the center of your shadows. Right? Got that. These little guys. Bits of brightness on them too, just on the bigger ones. The ones that are too small, and you never have to worry about putting highlights on those guys, seriously. Tap it in, and just let those taps mix each other up. If our taps can mix with each other, we're going to be all set-a-rooshki. There we go. This thing's very, very heavy with the paint, you guys. If you're looking for a textured one, this is your guy right here. Woo! Dude. It's just gunktified. You want to have a tree that actually feels like a tree? This one's all you right here. Tap it in though. Don't try to drag them. It's going to make it look different. You don't want it to look like that. Very cool, guys. Okay, you guys are going to have to start coming up with a title for this one. If you like it enough, you can grab it. It's over there on paintwithjosh.com. It's right there. You can get it. Very cool. We don't need to do too many little highlights on too many little things, especially these bigger branches. You don't need to have them all be showing light or catching light all at the same time. That's a cool painting though right there. Okay, let's throw our bird family in, and then we'll get a title for it from one of you guys. Remember, if you purchase it, you get to title it forever. Forever. And you get like a shout out so everybody knows who you are. Dudes, we don't have much room for the birds in this forest. Come in here and just go, caca, just flying right through the middle. I love it. Very neat, guys. Look at the different values in the brightness, the blue, the haziness, the far away parts, all sorts of stuff back there in the night. like so. You could even redo the whole bird right there. Take out that part of his eye and make another little branch right here, and now you can't even see. That thing was there. Fade up into the light. There. There, guys, that's cool. Right, now we'll go back, we gotta add our little bird. Took him out. Took out a little baby over there. Now we're gonna come in and go right through. Now you'll be able to see it. Excellent. Okay. Yes, I'm gonna finish cleaning off all these brushes. You guys have to go and title this thing. What do we want it to be named? What would you name it if you had just painted it, right? These are all questions for you guys. Because you guys are in control. The Mist. I like that. Dude, that's a cool painting. This guy's a little bright on this highlight right here. There we go. Always got to finger paint with Josh a little bit. That's perfection. Look at that thing, dude. Woo! I like it, I like it, I like it. Thank you, Clear Views. Appreciate you. In the Night. Somebody said name it. In the Night. Enchanted Forest. Let's see. What did I do when I painted the birds? We used odorless mineral spirits with our plaque mix and the Paint with Josh liner brush. And that very thin liner brush creates a very thin line where we can do our very cool little birds. So you guys start coming up with a title. I'm going to finish washing off these brushes. And then, if you purchase it, like I said, you get to pick the title forever. What do you feel like we should call it? What do you feel like you want to name it? That's the best part, too. Your friends come over, they're like, oh, that's cool. And you're like, yeah, I got it during this guy's live show, and I got to title it. Check out what we called it. We turn it around and you see what the back is, right? That's the fun part. Now, I'm going to finish washing off these guys. You guys come up with a title, and then we'll come back. And even if it doesn't find a new home, we still have to find a title for it. So, help me out by typing in your favorite suggestion into the comments now. All you gotta do. I've got one more brush. This is the last guy that we're cleaning up. And then we're gonna be looking for some titles. So, type them in now. What you got? See if we can see it. Huge mess today, guys. Whew. Ugh. Foul. Look at all that nastiness. It's gonna take 2 basic paper towels. So, what do we got for titles, guys? Remember, this is what I do for a living. You can grab this painting, it's over there, and I'll send it to you straight away. Because, oh, this one just came out fabulously, dude. Pure Nature, Forbidden Forest, 40-acre forest, Enchanted Emeralds. I like that one too. That big old fallen tree just literally projects distance, you guys. Man, it's cool. Fallen Falls. I like that. The Fallen. Also, wicked cool title. You guys are like poets or something, I swear. You guys come up with the best titles. Okay, let's get out here. I'm gonna flip around the TikTok camera so we can all see, since there's the most people watching over there, we can at least see what our comments, what the titles should be over here. Let's flip you guys around real quick. I know, don't move, it's fine. There. Now I can see you guys can see the painting. Excellent. There we go. So hit me with your titles. What do you think? What do you think? Everybody over here on Facebook and on the tube. Yeah, this tutorial will replay, and it'll be able to be rewatched and replayed over and over and over again, as many times as you want, as soon as we end it. Okay, so hit me with your titles. Let's see what we got. See if we can't put just a little touch, one little bit on some of these bigger guys, because that's all you really need sometimes. It's just a smallest little indication of light. And if it gets up there too tall or too crazy, it's going to be too noticeable on your eye. You know what I mean? Like, why is that so bright up there? It shouldn't really be that bright. This, that, the other. Little things. Little bits of color, guys. Okay. What do we got for the titles, my friends? We got Fallen Woodland Mystery. What's that? The Road to a Fairy Realm. Excellent. Path Less Traveled, that's a cool one. Enchanted Falls, also wicked cool title. Oof, man. Yes, The Mist. Secret Garden, I like that one too. Appreciate you guys. Forest for Josh, I like that. The Perfect Forest. I mean, that's cool. Bridge to Forever. We'll sign it in a minute. It's going right here. Don't worry. We'll put the old signature in, don't you worry. Literally, with that odorless mineral spirits, you can literally erase things. Misty Meadows. I like that, guys. Remember, last chance if you want to grab this one. You got to get over to paintwithjosh.com. Nab it up. Just nab it and grab it before someone else does. Because I swear, there's people over there, they're looking, you never know. Just like I never know, you guys never know when this thing will just all of a sudden be gone. So if you like it, you gotta get over there and grab it up. Then we're gonna turn it around, sign it with your title, and put a number on it. Because this one, mods do it. I didn't even remember. What is this one? 1958, right? We're catching up on 2,000 paintings, you guys, in my career. This is number 1,958, which is crazy. Like, literally, that's so many paintings. In 6 years, we've almost done 2,000 paintings. Thank you. 1958, appreciate it. Nature's Bridge. That's a cool title right there. What if we went with Nature's Bridge? I like that. I like that. It's not, it's, you know what I mean? It's nothing crazy. It's nice. Talks about the tree. We could rock that. Okay. Let's do Nature's Bridge for number 1958. Yes! This one literally came out amazing. This is the canvas that you will be getting if you grab the one that's on the front of the website, number 1,958. That's this canvas. It'll be mailed to you. And whoop, it'll be amazing. 1958. What was Smiley's title again? Nature. Oh, it's Julie's title. Nature's Bridge. Perfect. Josh can't spell. It's fine. This one was painted on 7/25/2000, 24. All going to get to paintwithjosh.com because it's like the best place ever. You got to get over there and check it out. If you've never been there before, it changes always. There's always something different on paintwithjosh.com. So you just got to go over there and check it out. Man, that came out too good, you guys. It came out too good. Woo! No light party. There's no light party. If it doesn't find a new home, then we can't do a light party, unfortunately. And that would be really cool on this painting. Have a little light party going on it. See all the changing colors and things. Man, that's cool. Mystical Forest. You guys are neat. Okay, well, we're catching up on 6 o'clock, my friends, on the West Coast, which means it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, and you guys are about to go to bed. No, I'm just kidding. I never like the tutorials to go for too much longer than an hour. So everybody over on Facebook and on YouTube, thank you guys for watching, for tuning in, for checking out this painting, for seeing how to do it. And I can't wait to see your versions of it. I showed you literally every single step from the acrylic background to the finished product. So send them into official Paint with Josh on Facebook or find me on Instagram, Paint with Josh K. You can always post them in any comment section of anything I ever post on Facebook in order for me to see them as well. And I can't wait to see your version. So until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have a good day. And why do I always make that noise? I try not to, and I still make that noise anyway.